Piers Morgan, the perennially wrong about everything until it becomes okay to be right about it, is attacking Candace Owens about doing journalism, which is what Piers Morgan, I don't think, has ever done. He's really garbage. I really can't get over this. He's wrong about everything. He was wrong about Russiagate. He was wrong about COVID, 100%. He was wrong about the Ukraine war, 1,000%. And now he's wrong about Charlie Kirk's assassination.
To keep asking questions until we get clear answers.
Candace, it may be that the person in the media spewing bullshit to the public is you.
No, nice try. It's not. It's you by saying, why are you asking questions? Don't you worry about Mikey's feelings? Everyone knows what this is. And like I said, because we have the example, the concrete example of after JFK's assassination, the media members quite literally being put on the payroll of the CIA, we have a historical example that we can look at and go, we're not doing that again. Doesn't matter how many times you keep telling the public that I'm spewing bullshit. It is only because there has not been anything that has come out of this investigation that makes any sense that the public is not listening to. I am sorry to say this, Piers, people like you.
He's on the wrong side of every major issue until it becomes untenable for him to be on the wrong side, and then he comes around to the right side. I don't know if he ever came around to the right side on Russiagate. He finally did with COVID a little bit, the Ukraine war a little bit. But he's demonstrably wrong on all these things. And he's demonstrably wrong about this. He's sitting here shaming someone for doing actual journalism. Nothing in this story makes sense. Nothing. Nothing. And of course, that's why he has to try to talk over her.
All right, Jim, you're live.
Hello, everybody.
309, dude. 310.
Oh, I'm here. Oh, I'm here. Hi, everybody. I'm officially 5 minutes early, according to my. Anyway, hi, I'm here. It's Jimmy Dore. Hi, it's me, Jimmy. I'm here with the world's premier voice impressionist, Mike McRae. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Glad to hear that.
I can't wait to hear my Christmas wishes from my favorite celebrities.
Oh, well, that might happen.
Okay. All
You're
right.
good? You're all good?
Yeah, I think let's go. Well, should we hit it, Mike?
All right, let's hit it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, this is Jimmy. Who this? Oh, wait a minute. So I just go to my. This is me listening to my answering machine, or how do we do this, Mike?
Just no, they're live calls.
Okay. Live calls. Okay. Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? This is J.D. Vance.
What was the? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start again, Mike. My bad.
Okay.
Oh man, the switchboard's really lighting up today for some reason. We should really get caller ID. Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? It's J.D. Vance.
Oh, Mr. Vice President Vance.
Hey, dude, I just wanted to call and say it's been fun getting to know you over the past year or so. You're a real cool dude. I appreciate you letting me on your show and just let me talk shit, you know? Just say how I feel, whether it's a good idea or not. It's really refreshing because normally I feel so stifled in my media appearances. So me and my devil-worshipping brown-ass wife, Usha, and I would like to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. And we hope that your 2026 is full of joy and spite.
Well, thanks, Mr. Vice President. Right back at you. But bye for now. I got another call coming in. Hello, who's this?
What's up, dude? It's Cash Patel.
FBI Director Patel, my new favorite caller.
Man, you have no idea how much that shit means to me, dog.
Getting
to know you this past year has been sick, like super tight. I feel like we're blood brothers at this point. Like, I'll be honest, this job has been super crazy, like nonstop. Sometimes I don't even know where the fuck I am, dude. No cap.
No cap.
But knowing I can call you makes everything a little easier. When I'm out there solving crimes, or taking credit when Randy and them solve crimes, or tweeting shit out way ass prematurely, knowing that you have my back is like doing a rail of pure confidence, dude. I wish we had known each other back when we were both single. I know we would have hit the town together and Eiffel Towered some rancid fucking skanks, dude. You know it, fucking dude. Don't even argue. It's true, dude.
Hey,
yeah.
What does it mean when you say no cap?
What?
What does no cap mean when you say no cap?
It means like I'm not lying.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, well, thanks for your kind words, Director Patel. Right back at you. I got another call coming in, though. Gotta go. Hey, hello, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
Hello, Jimmy. This is former Senator Mitt Romney of the great state of Utah.
Oh, hello, Senator Romney.
Now, I know I didn't call you once this year, and that's because I retired from public life and therefore no longer felt the communications from myself would be irrelevant to your program. So I purposely held back and hanged back and gave you the space and the respect I've always felt you've deserved. But lately I've been talking to the press more, for example, saying that people of my wealth should be taxed more safely now that I'm no longer in a position to do anything about that. And I suppose just out of a sense of nostalgia for all the years and good times and laughs you and I have shared over the past 12 years, I just thought I'd give you a call and from the bottom, Merry
I'm sorry, Senator Romney. I'm afraid I've got yet another call coming in.
Oh, okay, I'll hold.
Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
What's up, baby? It's Double V.
Oh, friend of the show, Vince Vaughn. Hi, Vince.
Jimmy D, my main man on the mic, sitting there pretty 3 days a week. Look at that Shane Punim. I simply can't get enough. I can't look away. Sometimes you take a break from speaking truth to power and give me an opportunity to talk shit to Hollywood. And you know what? I can't thank you enough for that. I hope Santa brings you everything you want this year, no matter how illegal it is. You keep me and you, baby. Double V out.
Hey, same to you, Vince. Thanks for calling. I got yet another call coming in. Hello.
Hey, baby, it's Santa Clunes calling again. Hope you've been naughty.
Friend of the show, George Clooney. Hey, George.
And hey to you, my old friend. You know what? We always talk about getting together, and it's just never happened. And goddamn it, as goddamn God is my witness, 26 is going to be the year that happens. You and me, Kimosabi, hit the town. Top shelf everything, dinner at Spago, drinks at Westgate's, a nightcap at Emilio's. And I know what you're thinking. I haven't even heard of those last two. I know. You're not supposed to have heard of them. They're not for you. That's how exclusive and top shelf this night is going to be. Let me just look at my calendar here. Tell you what, old buddy, how about I circle back around in 2-7? These gift cards will still be good, right? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, you handsome devil, you. Brad Pitt, put that down. Why, dude? It's cool.
Thanks, George. I gotta let you go, though. I have yet another call coming in. Hello.
Hello, Jimmy.
All right. Disgraced former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
And a Merry Christmas to you and yours. I know I haven't called much for a while, and that's because I have been erased from the book of life, politically speaking. But I guarantee you in 2026 I will find some flimsy pretext to call you again because I need to occasionally speak to a fellow bull. And that you are, my friend. You get it. You've always gotten it. Because you have fucking balls. Stugats. And men like you and me need to stick together. These fruity pebbles up in Albany never understood that. What men like you and me go through. What we need.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to that, Governor. Hey, I got one more call. Gotta go. Hello.
Johnny, it's Harrison Ford.
Hi, Harrison. It's Jimmy.
I don't give a shit. Sometimes I call you on the phone. I don't know why. I don't know who you are. I have no idea what your fucking deal is. All I know is that I'm higher than a fucking kite. I'm that way all the time. Merry Christmas, you enigma, you. What are you? God help us all.
Okay, and Merry Christmas to you, Harrison Ford. Well, that's all the calls. We can finally get on with our show, and now...
hello, Jimmy, are you still there?
Oh, Senator Romney?
Yes, am I alive on the air? I've been on hold this whole time.
Yes, but we need to move on, Senator. Thanks for calling.
Are you being serious right now? I called to wish you a Merry Christmas, and this is how you treat me?
What?
Well, in that case, Merry fucking Christmas, you arrogant cocksucker.
Okay.
I hope Santa goes up your chimney, and by that I mean your rectum, and sets off a cherry bomb in your colon, rendering you incontinent for life, you ball-gargling, puke-sniffing, foul-breathed cockwagon. Oh, and Happy New Year.
Okay, Happy New Year to you, man. That was great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those make me happy.
They all love you, Jimmy.
That makes me happy. Thank you very much. Mike McRae, great job. Everybody check out Mike McRae online on Instagram. F-R-E-E.
That's right,
M-A-C-R-A-E. That's right, F-R-E-E. That spells free. CreditReport.com, baby.
That's me.
All right, Mikey. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you. We'll see you next Tuesday.
And Merry Christmas to you guys for me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll see you next Tuesday, right?
Let's see what's next. At the 30th.
Yeah.
All right, I
Yeah.
like it.
Okay, all right. We'll see you then. All right, brother. Thank you very much.
Bye, y'all.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
buddy.
Okay, over to Steph.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. I've got a new hat. I know you're like, what's going on, Steph? Yep, this is my new hat. I know you thought the ears were nice. This is like frosting on the cake, girls. All right. So here we go. Let's see what you've chatted so far. I saw a couple of you. All right, let's go over here. Let's open this baby up, shall we? Refresh. Got a big show today. Big show. This is the last show this week. That's why we're doing a special Tuesday, right? To remind you to resist much, obey little. Boy, lots going on. I wonder if Mike could get Biden to check in. So how sweaty and rat-like is Zelensky, Matthew? Oh, the first one was Benjamin. Matthew, Zelensky. Semites are anyone who writes from right to left. Semite is a language group, Arabs included. Israel, by definition, the biggest anti-Semite. Savage. All right, I got you there, girls. Okay, something just swooped by right now. You heard of Elf on a Shelf? Now you can own a Hillary Clinton doll. Cunt on a bunt. Hillary sitting on a bump cake. Merry Christmas. Patriot. Thank you, Patriot. And I know I have another one. Hold on. LOL, Malibu Kyle having constant mental breakdowns with Marshall Applewhite Crazy Eyes on his show. Independent. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what any of that means.
But it sounds fun.
Sounds fun. Please tell me what that means.
Independent. Any more tips on that, brother? Let me know. Okay, so let's see what I have here. Saw someone on some Substack had gotten an age verification BS thing. Not sure what country. We need to all wise up and
Australia
quit.
does that.
Australia does that,
Yeah.
Jimmy says. We need to all wise up and quit patronizing the criminals that run the country. I think it's weird. I was watching Glenn Greenwald earlier today, and he was talking about the censorship with UK and Australia. And I think it's so weird that Australia would ever want to be in lockstep with the UK. Like, it seems to me that after their history, happy holidays to you and yours. You are absolute dynamite. Always happy 2026. Free Palestine. Mikey. Thank you, Mikey. Mike is a fucking legend. That is from Christos. Thank you, Christos. Mike is a damn genius. Mouse SF. Thank you, Mouse SF.
Okay.
Just in time. Merry Christmas. Back to Jimmy.
Maybe you heard about this. CBS News is now in pure retreat. Their 60 Minutes had all ready to go. They had a segment, like a 12-minute segment, maybe 13 minutes long segment about Trump sending people arrested by ICE here in the United States to the CCOT prison in El Salvador. And it reflected poorly on the Trump administration. Not that the 9-0 decision from the conservative court already did make him look bad over this, but they pulled it. So they pulled and I can't even show you because I can't even show. So this is the trailer they put out. This is the teaser they put out, the little promo. I can't play it, and I'm going to show you why I can't play it. Here, let me show you why I can't play it. Hang on.
Really?
Yeah, I can't play it because breaking 60 CBS is now filing copyright takedowns to scrub copies of the banned 60-minute CCOT segment. They didn't just pull the story, they're trying to erase it. That tells you everything. And so what I'm going to do, what this is called when they do this is called the Streisand effect. Now, this segment probably would have aired. Maybe people talked about it, but we've already talked about this.
Right.
Everybody's already covered this. And the Supreme Court, the highly conservative Supreme Court, already voted 9-0 against Donald Trump in this case. So it's not like this is going to be new news or that it's But anyway, the Streisand effect describes a situation where an attempt to hide, remove, or censor information results in the unintended consequence of the effort, instead increasing public awareness. So now everybody's talking about this. As opposed to I probably wouldn't have covered it. I don't think anybody else would have covered it because we've all covered this story ad nauseum and we wouldn't have covered it. But now because Bari Weiss, the Zionist gift to the news at CBS, remember she was installed by the Ellison family who bought CBS and TikTok at the same way so they can control the narrative around Israel and Zionism. And so what they actually are doing now is creating more interest in this story. And since I can't play it on YouTube, what I'm going to do is play the entire segment for you in a premium segment that we're going to do directly after today's show. So I'm going to play it for you. So if you want to see it, stick around. And if you want to see it, become a premium member, and you can see my commentary on it as we watch it together. So that's what's going to happen. But I'm going to get you back to the story. Let's get back to the story. So Bari Weiss is a lapdog for the capitalist state. Her censorship of a story on 60 Minutes that exposes the Trump administration for sending Venezuelans to CICOT in El Salvador to be tortured should immediately result in her firing. Here's a clip of the segment she blocked. Well, she's not going to get fired because this is exactly what she was put there to do. So now, anyway, so we can't, so when he says Bari Weiss is a lapdog for the capitalist state, I think everyone knows her as Toady, if you know what I'm talking about. I call her Toady Foster. Come on. So your liberal hero in charge of CBS is not only burying a critical story about human rights, she's helping Donald Trump on purpose. I bet you didn't have that on your bingo card, did you? So I can't play it for you, but so Max Blumenthal says CBS's 60 Minutes has always been a conduit for the CIA and the State Department propaganda, with occasional disruptions by the likes of people like Mike Wallace. But the sloppiness and zealotry of Bari Weiss has finally lifted the mask. Hey, Max, I'm sorry to tell you, that's not a mask. That's her actual face. This is what government censorship looks like. Trump approved the Paramount Skydance merger. So that's Larry Ellison buying Paramount. Remember, that's 1/6 of the American media, including CBS News. A few months later, CBS new editor-in-chief kills a deeply reported story that's critical of Trump. A sad day for 60 Minutes and for journalism. Well, appears that 60 Minutes had their 15 minutes of fame, I guess. That's kind of ironic. But here's the real reason why they did this. Friend of the show, Ryan Grimm, Barry's boss, David Ellison, wants to buy CNN and Warner Brothers, but his bid was too shaky, and Trump was annoyed at some CBS coverage of him. So now they have to rebid. So they're going to rebid with his daddy, Larry Ellison, using the family trust to guarantee the money. And Barry spikes a piece critical of Trump. Spikes a piece. Then they air an homage. So in its place, they aired an homage to Rob Reiner. These are awful people who make the characters in Succession look virtuous by comparison. So that's the real reason, right? So that's what's really happening. So they need the Trump administration to okay their thing. They also need Warner Brothers to okay, because remember Netflix was going to buy Warner Brothers, and now they want the Larry Ellison or David Ellison wants it. The Ellison Zionist family wants it. So that's the real reason. Okay. Max Blumenthal says this. He says, did Bari Weiss try to bury 60 Minutes CICOT report to protect Marco Rubio? While Stephen Miller, is that how you say his name? You say it, Stephen. Stephen Miller has been a public face of Trump's deportation policy. It was Rubio who arranged to send 250 Venezuelan migrants to his friend Bucali in El Salvador, where they were publicly humiliated and tortured for months. 60 Minutes not only documented hideous abuses of the migrants in Salvadorian custody, but explained how the Trump administration falsified their relationship with Tren de Agua by classifying anyone with any kind of tattoo as a bona fide Tren de Agua gangster, despite the fact that Tren de Agua members do not identify by tattoos as M13 members have. Only 3.2% of the Venezuelan migrants detained in CICOT have ever even been convicted of a violent crime. Barry Weiss justified her delay of 60 Minutes report by on the absurd grounds that we need to do more. Yet her comments contained a certain truth, as Rubio's central role in the scandal has been omitted. So he goes on, in personally arranging the transfer of the Venezuelan migrants to CICOT, Rubio undercut Trump's special envoy to Venezuela, Rick Grenell, who was working on a deal with Caracas that would have seen the migrants sent directly to their home country in exchange for 11 American prisoners, but on the condition that Chevron have its operating license extended in Venezuela. So by transferring the migrants to CICOT instead, Rubio was able to deny oil revenue to Venezuela while escalating tensions with Maduro. Rubio also kneecapped Trump's Department of Justice, though through his Salvadorian scheme. In exchange for Bucali opening his dungeon to the Venezuelans, Rubio promised him that several valuable MS-13 informants would be removed from U.S. custody and returned to El Salvador, where they could be silenced. The Salvador president and self-described coolest dictator feared that these MS-13 informants would expose his secret negotiations with the gang, busting his mythical image as an uncompromising crime fighter who reduced street violence with an iron fist. And so the Department of Justice was forced to relinquish valuable assets they'd spent years recruiting and cultivating. Thanks to Rubio's regime change mania, U.S. taxpayers were billed millions of dollars to detain an overwhelmingly nonviolent lot of Venezuelan migrants in a Salvadorian torture prison, while diplomacy to free Americans was needlessly delayed. So that's what's going on. I like how he I didn't know he referred himself as the coolest dictator. Marco the Rubio, or as he's referred to down there as Narco Rubio, Duke of the White Dragon. So now you know that CBS News is completely co-opted, corrupted. That's the big story here. The other story here is they're running cover for Marco Rubio, screwing up this deal. And so Glenn Greenwald tweets out two of the largest, most alarming media stories in years. Larry Ellison, the largest single private donor to the Israeli IDF, bought Paramount, CBS, CBN News, and is trying to buy Warner Brothers Discover, CNN, right as support for Israel unravels. So this is done through his son. Congress forced the transfer of TikTok into Ellison's hands, which Netanyahu said was one of Israelis' greatest victories because the platform allowed too much anti-Israel content. And now there's a former IDF soldier in charge of TikTok censorship on all matters relating to Israel and anti-Semitism. So those are the two big stories. That's really the story here. And so let me just get into a little bit more if you want to know more about what actually happened in behind the scenes at CBS News. I ultimately had to comply. 60 Minutes executive producer faces fallout after Barry Weiss shelves the story. So that's what the executive producer of 60 Minutes said. I had to comply. Employees said it was pulled Saturday night. This story, it was pulled Saturday night after Weiss asked for additional reporting, including on-camera interviews with a member of the Trump administration, according to a person familiar with the matter. By Sunday, promotional materials for the segment, including a trailer, had been eliminated from the 60 Minutes website. The story had been cleared by the network's usual process and was previously vetted by standards, legal, and senior editors, including Barry Weiss. according to Simon's remarks. So the fact that we're hearing about any of this means that the old model of the big three news networks controlling what we find out is an ancient fossil now, and it has gone extinct. There are no functioning examples anymore. Just CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox wobbling down a dead-end road. Money doesn't make them honest. In fact, it's the opposite. It's almost immediately assumed now that the fact that Larry Ellison owns you means you're lying. His name destroys your name. It does. So the original preview said that Alfonsi spoke with released prisoners who described brutal and torturous conditions inside that prison. Hundreds of Venezuelans have been deported to El Salvador under President Trump's immigration crackdown and have endured systematic torture and abuse, including sex assault during their detention, according to a November report by Human Rights Watch. The report said conditions at CCOT breached the United Nations minimal rules for the treatment of prisoners. Boy, when did Venezuela become Israel? Weiss explained her thinking in a Monday morning editorial meeting, telling staff that she held the story because it wasn't ready. According to a person who attended the meeting and spoke on a condition of anonymity, she continued, and this is 60 Minutes. We need to be able to make every effort to get the principles on the record and on camera. To me, our viewers come first, not a listing schedule or anything else, and that is my North Star, and I hope it's the North Star of every person in this newsroom. The segment's production team had sent, so she's pretending that, well, we got to get the Trump administration on record. We have to get their comment. We have to get them on camera. But they did try. The segment's production team had sent questions and requested comment from the White House, the State Department, and the Department of Homeland Security for the story, but the administration declined to grant the journalists an interview. Alfonsi wrote that she learned Saturday that Weiss killed the story, which she says was screened 5 times. Government silence is a statement, not a veto, Alfonsi wrote. Their refusal to be interviewed is a tactical maneuver designed to kill the story. So what she's saying is that, so now anytime the target of a story or the subject of a story doesn't want to be interviewed, you can't run that story. So that gives them de facto censorship over that story. So if Barry Weiss says they have to have Donald Trump or somebody from the administration in that story and they refuse, well, then they're able to cancel a story. Okay, so now, all right, so employees said it was pulled Saturday night after Weiss asked, okay, I already got this. The last-minute change has fueled internal tensions at 60 Minutes and CBS News, with some staffers arguing that the decision hamstrings the network's reporters and others demanding a meeting with Weiss. The segment's correspondent, Sharon Alfonsi, called the decision political in an internal email. If the administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story, we have effectively handed them a kill switch for any reporting that they find inconvenient. That's exactly right. So here's Brian Stelter. You know Brian Stelter. So he actually had a breakdown of what happened. He said, here's what Barry Weiss said on the CBS 9 a.m. call, per a source who transcribed it. I want to say something about trust, our trust for each other and our trust with the public. The only newsroom I'm interested in running is one in which we are able to have contentious disagreements about the thorniest editorial matters with respect and, crucially, where we assume the best intent of our colleagues. Anything else is absolutely unacceptable. So what she's saying is, hey, even though it's obvious what I'm doing and I'm screwing the newsroom and our reputation and I'm doing this at the behest of the most powerful people in the world, you need to still respect me. And you need to pretend that that's not what I'm doing. You need to pretend I'm acting in good faith. That's what she's saying. I held a 60-minute story because it was not ready. While the story presented powerful testimony of torture at CCOT, it did not advance the ball. The Times and other outlets have previously done similar work. The public knows that Venezuelans have been subjected to horrific treatment at this prison. To run a story on this subject 2 months later, we need to do more. And this is 60 Minutes. We need to be able to get the principles on the record and on camera. Our viewers come first, not the listing scale. So I just read you that part. Okay. Well, here's the irony. Andrew Prokop caught this. When she left the New York Times, she complained. And she complained about this very thing she's doing now. I'm old enough to remember Barry Weiss complaining about self-censorship at the Times, at how politically sensitive pieces could run only after every line is carefully massaged, negotiated, and caveated, and how pretextual complaints about a story not being strong enough were used to justify caving for political reasons. So she's doing the exact thing she complained about the New York Times doing when she quit. And now here she is at CBS doing the exact same thing. It's kind of amazing. But that's right. That baby-faced person who left the New York Times is now a senior editor. That's like giving a 9-year-old a black belt just for coming to karate class. That's what that's. So here's the letter she sent, right? So I already read you most of it, but here's the last part. We need to do a better job explaining. I told you that. She says, we need to do a better job of explaining the legal rationale by which the administration detained and deported these 252 Venezuelans to CICOT. It's not as simple as Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act and being able to deport them immediately, and that isn't the administration's argument. The administration has argued in court that detainees are due judicial review, and we should explain this with a voice arguing that Trump is exceeding his authority under the relevant statute, and another arguing that he's operating within the bounds of his authority. There's a genuine debate here. If we cut down Kristi Noem's analysis, we have the time. Okay, what's wrong with her saying that? Well, let me just finish this. My general view here is that we do our viewers the best service by presenting them with the full context they need to assess the story. In other words, I believe we need to do more reporting here. So the problem is, she's saying we need to present both sides of the story. But the problem is, this story, again, as I've told you already, the Supreme Court already dismissed Donald Trump's administration. The most conservative Supreme Court we've had in my lifetime has disagreed 9-0 with Donald Trump's argument on this. This is already settled. We don't need to present that argument anymore because the Supreme Court already held 9-0 that the process used to send people to CICOT violated due process. There wasn't even a single dissent. Barry Weiss is making up a debate that has already been settled. That's exactly what she's doing. What is happening to CBS is a terrible embarrassment. And if executives think they can build shareholder value by avoiding journalism that might offend the mad king, they are about to learn a tough lesson. This is still America, and we don't enjoy BS like this. And of course, I already showed you this. So now they're doing this. They're putting copyright strikes on anybody who tries to run this, which is why we're going to show it immediately after this in our premium streamium. Yeah. The most astonishing thing here is that they think they're clever enough to fool us. That's really how embarrassing that these morons were able to pull one over on us at any given moment before. So anyway, but we're onto them now. We're onto them. So there it is. That's the story, and this is called the Streisand effect. That's what's happening. Okay. I'll see you after the show, and we're gonna. So let me mention this. Let me go. So if you want to see, if you go to Kalshi, that's that place where you can go and check in to see how people are. What is it? It's like a prediction market. Right? If you go to Kalshi. So put up full screen. So right now, the question is, will 60 Minutes release its CICOT story? So before December 29th, 34% think so. Before January 6th, 33% think so. And before February 7th, 78% say it's going to happen before February 2nd. So that's the predictions market over at Kalshi. And if you know what Kalshi is, that's a great thing. And but they are also a sponsor, so I want to let everybody know that. But that's the prediction market. Everybody's talking about the Kalshi prediction market. and go ahead, see what. Well, there's one. Let me put it up full screen one more time.
You got to look right here on that screen.
Look over here. So you can go there and it says buy yes. Yes costs 73. Is that what it says? 73 cents. And no, 66. So you get to go ahead and put your money where your mouth is on that. All right. Well, if you'd like to hear my jokes about this, come see me January 11th in Waikiki, February 20th in Lansing, Michigan, and February 21st, where? In Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And you'll hear all my new jokes about Charlie Kirk's assassination and Kash Patel's cover-up and Barry Weiss and Erica Kirk and, of course, Candace Owens and all that stuff. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Over to Steph.
All right. This just in. Dirk Diggler said, Jimmy endorses leather and high heels, and who can blame him? Yeah. Like you know him. Who's calling me? It's a scam. Hold on. This is how I usually answer scams. Hello? What? ¿Cómo? ¿Qué? ¿Qué? Ah. Ah. And I go that you probably already do this. Usually, so hold on, let's do this. And then I block them after they I know the hat is tremendous. Malcolm likes it. Thank you, Malcolm, for noticing my hats. All right, here we go. Jimmy, you didn't hear this, but Dirk Diggler says Jimmy endorses leather and high heels. I think you're right about that one, Dirk. Hey, Rochi boy, what's up? Merry Christmas, Steph, JD, Kerp, and team. Thanks to you all. Plus, get this, unvaccinated guy. I love that, Rochi boy, for bringing the laughs along with the news each week. Thank you so much. Duria said Steph would never Erica Jimmy. You are correct about that one. Unless he has a book, then I'm going to have to go on a book tour and wear a lot of sparkly clothing. Just so you know. Shekel Master, hold on, Shekel. This is coming to you. Bam. You're the one of the few podcasts remaining that reports true news and the only one that does it comedically. Thanks for all you do, guys, and Merry Christmas. I'll be listening to this one on my drive from St. Louis to Upper Peninsula. Aw, Shekel. Thank you. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Steph. I think it's time to get a female counterpart of Mike McRae. I want to see Erica, Hillary, Liz, Kamala, Harris, Ursula von der Leyen to come see. And DEI. Oh, I love that, Josh Woods. Thank you, Josh. I don't know. I have a soft spot for Mike. I always will. Have you heard Greta Thunberg has been labeled a terrorist by UK government for opposing genocide? Oh, what a radical opposing genocide. What the flip? And that's from Unfuck the World. I worry for Massie's safety. Making Israel your enemy is dangerous. What? Hold on, Kenneth Topping. Donald never did anything underhanded with young girls. Iraq always had WMDs. The shot did not off a single person, and Mrs. Kirk did not date before meeting her husband. ... Crumbling empire. Jimmy Dean. War stop if they sent the kids and the kids' politicians to the front light instead of Hollywood. It's all nepotism, brightest are cannon fodder. You wonder why they recycle material. Genius died. I have a oh, bam, camera 4. Let's bring it up, bitch. Come on. It's like he's ignoring me. Oh, boy. Hold on. Camera 4, when you can. The Telegraph posted, it's there. Look at you magically. Thank you so much. The Telegraph posted the most unflattering picture of Larry Ellison in the paper today. He looks like the true Jew he is, one in need of Christ. Yes. Come on.
That sounds antiseptic.
Antiseptic, Jimmy says. That definitely sounds antiseptic. And I got to tell you. Yeah, you're right about that, Jimmy. It's not. Yeah, it's totally about Zionists. That's what says, better be prepared for a fake flag by Mossad so we all forget this and blame Iran for terrorism. What? Okay, what? Thank you for that. Moving over here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, hold on. Oh, where'd that go? Oh, here we go. Let's add these three, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Listen, I couldn't sleep last night. It's like I'm excited for Santa. Really, that's what it felt like. I'm like, why can't I sleep? Barry Weiss, I'm going to censor you just a little more, baby, pulling the strings. Wow, Jimmy, you got a nice haircut. Looking good. Peg. Oh, for F's sake, I couldn't care less what this toady does to the POC, piece of shit at CBS who pushed Iraq, COVID, and Russia. Burby. It's kind of funny, like they're placing her there so she could be this great propaganda machine, and nobody likes her. Like, what are they going to do when they fire her? Who are they going to hire? It's kooky. Okay, I got to go. Let's refresh. Hold on. Refreshing. Donald never did. Oh, I read that one. Okay, refresh. Thank you, Ken, at the topping. Roosevelt, happy holidays. Thanks for a great year. Well, thank you. Looking forward to another one with you and the award-winning chat. Savage, YouTube will not allow one to talk about the U's. They blocked me for saying both H word in the super chat. How about Zionists? Do they block you for Zionists? Because that's the real issue here. Zionists. Savage, who warned us? Painter. Okay. All right, got that one. Thank you. Refresh. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go here. All right. I'm pretty good. How about you, Jimmy? You need another minute?
Yeah.
All right, no problem. Let's see what I got here. Female counterpart. Oh, gotcha. I read that one. That was great, Jim Woods. Much appreciated for that one. Let's see this one. Okay. Oh, that's so interesting. Sometimes Jimmy gets stuck in his own head. He needs to get back on integration of his shadow. Ooh, look at you, Jeremy. Steph, if I buy a backstage ticket, can I party with you and Jimmy for a half an hour? Dirk Diggler, we do not have backstage tickets. You know what happens is, usually we're not big partiers. Disappointment, right? There's a little disappointment. Yeah, I know. During COVID, there was a lot of Negronis happening. Great dinners, lots of Negronis. Maybe some Xanax, maybe, just maybe, and yeah, those would have been the best backstage passes when we were all locked down. Hey, this is from Funky Lollipop. What up? Have a great holiday, Jimmy Dore team. Love your fascinator, Steph. Thank you. My mom got it for me. Really, I stole it from my mom. I wrestled her for it. Let's see what we got here. Okay, let's see. Santa's fueling up the sled. This just in from the Gildo. Thank you. All right, let's go. Oh, this just in. Hold on. Discovering. What have we got here? Come on, let me read it. Discovering the truth about 9/11 was devastating. Discovering the truth about the pandemic shook my world. Discovering pretend moon landing turned me upside down. Have you interviewed Zybrel? Or is it Zibrel? No, we have not. But thank you, Kenneth Topping. What are you doing, Kenneth? You're back. Bam. Thank you, amigo. All right, looking here. I got that one. Lots of you here today. How many we got on YouTube? How many do we have? If Santa was real, he'd find missing children in the off season. You're right about that one. But don't tell the kids. Just starting to watch the Jimmy Dore show. Love, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Foggy Woods. Welcome to the show, Foggy. Okay, let's see. Cybrel is the expert. Okay, so we have to have Cybrel on, or Cybrel. Thank you. Merry Christmas from Gaza. Quicksilver. Okay, let's see. Jimmy is here in studio just polishing up a couple of the stories that he wants to show today. Let's see. Tax time. Oh, that is so funny, Patriot. Patriot says, tax time, redact your whole forms, folks. I love that. That is so funny. Right? You know, we're all held captive by the IRS. That seems what happens here. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Thanks for covering subjects others are afraid to. Merry Christmas. And that's from John. Thank you, John. Thank you for noticing. Some people are hoping, Jimmy, you're polishing off a bong right now. No, gone are those days. Gone. I remember those pot smoking days like they were yesterday. Stephanie needs a simple Santa hat. I do. I think you're right about that. See what I can drum up. Sorry, taxes have been redacted. That is so funny. All right, let's see here. My Nana would love to hear her name on TV. Sharon Kuruchit. Love you. How was that? Sharon, Merry Christmas. Let's see. And that, where'd that go? And that's from Clatonymous. Hey, what's your thought on Tracy dismissing Epstein's story?
I think he killed a hooker, and the Mossad has a video of it. That's what I think. What do you think?
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's funny. All right, let's see. All right, let's go. A pot goes with a pan, and that's from Cheese Rocket. Thank you, Cheese. That was so good. Thank you so much. That was so good. Well, tell Sharon happy birthday, or Sharon, Merry Christmas. Sharon, Happy New Year's. 2026 around the corner. Oh, boy. Yes, Jimmy quit the weed after he got vax injured. And that's right. Steph is a honeypot.
Oh, he can.
All right, let's do this. You know what? Let's go to a break. We'll be right back. This year, I'm saying Merry Christmas. Not an adversarial Merry Christmas. Misha, you're in my shot.
I just needed some tea.
Okay, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas. And if you want to go ahead, Misha, what are you doing? You're in my...
A little bit of honey?
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Misha.
Merry Christmas, Steph.
Everybody, welcome back. We've got special guest with us, Ryan Matta, independent documentary filmmaker and investigative journalist, known for his work on border security and child trafficking, notably through his films What is Treason and Operation Amber Alert. A former systems engineer and cryptocurrency content creator, he transitioned into filmmaking to expose systemic corruption and government complicity in human rights abuses. His latest film, Never in America, exposes systemic abuses with the U.S. child welfare system. Welcome to the show, Ryan Matta. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Jimmy. Thanks for having me, man. Honored to be here, brother.
Well, let me just show your document. This is the trailer for your documentary. So let's go ahead and show it. Ready? Here we are.
Say it's the greatest fear of parents to have their child taken from them. How in the world does it happen by force at the point of a gun?
I brought this food with you, understand? Get out of the car.
Hey, you can't abuse me.
Give me the baby, okay? I can't.
This one really made my stomach sink.
I can't even believe this story.
Cyrus, a 10-month-old baby who's been kidnapped, stripped from his loving parents by CPS.
No, go in the car. Cyrus. In the car. It's all right. It's okay.
Cyrus.
It's okay. It's all right.
Cyrus.
I don't want anybody to have to endure this.
The Baby Cyrus case was the second most viral case in American history regarding CPS.
The media is not really covering this because this is, in fact, medical kidnapping.
They claim that Baby Cyrus was underweight.
The kid has lost weight.
Take the baby away.
Get the baby out with CPS to the foster parents.
They were willing to release Baby Cyrus to a foster family.
I won't let him go.
Okay.
It offers financial incentives to the states that increase adoption numbers.
There's billions of dollars to be had just from the federal government if you take the kids out.
They are profiting off of it.
There's nothing more evil, there's nothing more wicked than what I call child profiting systems.
Once a child is legally kidnapped, the child is far more likely to suffer abuse.
The most dangerous place to be for a child is in the government custody.
He literally has missed out on his childhood because of this.
In 10 months, I've never seen my grandson like this ever.
They just didn't even properly care for him.
It just looked like he was half dead.
That's the care that these animals are saying.
Protesters taking sides in a child welfare case.
We need more people out here. We need more people to stand for this.
I was extremely naive, and I thought there's no way that my son would be taken from me.
These are loving parents. They followed every instruction they were told, and they're being treated like criminals.
These parents, trapped in the system, become like refugees. They do not know what to do, and the loss of their children is devastating.
No man lives in freedom if you live under the constant threat of your child being taken away from you by force.
I'll do anything for Cyrus, for my son. I'll do anything for him.
I've seen this so many times. I can't be that next person. I can't.
So, Ryan, that's pretty powerful stuff. I hadn't heard about this case about Baby Cyrus. And can you just tell me what is, so is this common? Does this happen? And why did this happen to these people? They seem like good parents.
Great parents. You know, their grandfather was a pastor. Their kind of uncle, if you will, is Eamon Bundy. He was running for governor of Idaho at the time. And it's systemic. It's across our entire country. Roughly 480,000 children are taken from American parents by CPS every year. According to an own CPS study done in 2019, 83.3% at the time, CPS is in the wrong. According to CPS statistics, 54% of the time, a family never gets their child back once it's taken. So if you just do the math on that, that's roughly 390,000 that should have never been taken. 54% of that is roughly 215,000 children are ripped from loving parents' arms. These are parents who love their children, who did nothing wrong, and the state comes in and takes their child at gunpoint. So yeah, it's systemic across our entire country. I think CPS is by far the most evil and most corrupt government organization in our country. And that's saying a lot.
So you're saying that 83% of the children taken from parents in the United States from CPS, which stands for Child Protective Services, you're saying that 83% of those were taken in error?
Yes, sir. According to their own internal audit, which I can provide for you or your audience if you'd like. This is an internal audit done by CPS in 2019. And they went through and reviewed all the cases from that year. And they came to find that 83.3% of the time, CPS did not actually have enough evidence to take the child from the parents, but they took them anyways.
So it seems to me from that trailer that you're implying that there's a financial incentive for CPS to take people's babies from them, and that maybe is contributing to the 83% error rate, right?
Absolutely. Kind of like they did during COVID. When they wanted to, when the federal government needed to have power during COVID, what they said is they said, hey, states, there's this big kitty of money. We're going to put this big kitty of money here. And if each state ratifies its constitution to give us this power, we'll then give you access to this capital. And all 50 states went and ratified their constitution. And then that's how COVID went out, right? That's how the tyranny played out. In 1997, Bill Clinton passed the ASFA Act, which created this big kitty of money, and that incentivizes the states. Each state had to ratify their constitution to create their version of CPS. They have CPS, DCF, DCHS. So when I say CPS, I'm kind of blanket stating that for all of these government agencies. And then inside that, for example, the sheriff's department only gets access to their portion of the money if the sheriff physically separates the child from the parent. So we can use the baby Cyrus case, for example. If the sheriffs that night didn't separate the child from the mother, they wouldn't have been able to check that box. And that sheriff's department has a quota. And once they hit that quota, then they have access to that capital of money. And that's just the sheriffs. You have the doctors, you have the welfare, you have the parents. And it's just this big system that is so decompartmentalized because the foster care mother, she's just doing her job. She's just taking the child, right? She's just taking care of the child. The CPS caseworker is just doing her job. She's going in to interview the parents. And if, the parents don't check this criteria, if they don't vaccinate their child, if they homeschool their child, if they check all the boxes, then they can claim neglect. The doctors, the judges pretty much have a full-time job only overseeing CPS cases. And this system is just so decompartmentalized that each person plays a role, kind of like we've seen with the trafficking of the migrant children during the Biden administration, right? Like Border Patrol was just receiving the child. The NGO was just moving the child over to HHS. HHS was just vetting the sponsor. Then the NGO was just delivering the child to the sponsor, if you will. So each person played a role, but until you step back and see the entire big picture, you didn't realize that our government was running this massive child trafficking operation.
So, I mean, this almost seems very much like COVID, very much like Russiagate. It seems like such too big of a lie for me to wrap my brain around that this is actually happening. Now, I know that they lost several 100,000, according to congressional testimony that I watched, children that the Department of Homeland Security could not account for. Right? You've seen those.
So I have 3 documentaries out on that exact topic, Jimmy. It was 452,121 migrant children ages 0 to 17 arrived at our border from January 20th of 2021 to October of 2024. During that time period, our government took physical possession. So when a migrant child arrives at the U.S. border, without a parent, they instantly become property of the United States government. So then our government took custody of these children. They put them into this system where HHS was responsible for vetting the sponsor that they delivered them to. They delivered 350,000 children into America. So America is the #1 consumer of child porn, the #1 consumer of child rape, the #1 consumer of child ritual sacrifice, and the #1 consumer of all hard narcotics. America is the absolute last country you'd want your child lost in. Our government vetted the adult that they delivered these children to and then couldn't find 350,000 of them, Jimmy.
Wow. And so you have a documentary on that, but this Cyrus, about the baby Cyrus, it's a different. This is not, these weren't immigrants.
Absolutely. And that's how I got into the CPS, because I spent 3 years investigating how HHS and DHS turned America into the child trafficking capital of the world. And I couldn't wrap my head around how we went from never trafficking children to building this system that was running like a full-scale military operation. The way that they were processing these children, it was like a Ford assembly line. It was absolutely spectacularly shocking and scary to see how efficient this machine was and how good they were at just vanishing these children and how nobody was paying attention to it. Jimmy, by March of 2021, the Biden administration knew they had lost 20,000 children, but they needed more money. So we threw more money at it. By 2023, they lost 85,000 children. That was when the New York Times reported on it. In the beginning of 2023, we started the congressional hearings. And you want to know what the crazy part is? We got lectured by the Republicans for, 2 years about how they needed to get the House back because they were going to rein in the Biden radical government because they had the power of the purse. Once they got that power of the purse, they were going to rein in this government. Kind of like they could have done, we're watching the Epstein Act specifically, right? The act that Thomas Massie and them passed, right? That forced the Trump administration to release the Epstein files. When the Republicans took control of the House, they could have done the same thing to the Biden administration and shut down this trafficking operation. Under the Biden administration, Pelosi gave these NGOs that were trafficking all of these children $1.1 billion. Guess how much Republicans gave them? $1.7 billion. So after Republicans took the House, after all of the House oversight hearings, and we knew absolutely 100% fact that Alejandro Mayorkas, Xavier Becerra, and Robin Mercos had turned America into the child trafficking capital of the world, they increased the funding to all these NGOs instead of defunding them, Jimmy.
So why do you think that the mainstream news is not more on this?
I think that's such a good question, Jimmy. I think it's because they're just all the Mockingbird media.
Yeah.
I have to assume that they're all controlled by our intelligence agencies. It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
And so what can you just said, I don't want you to spoil your documentary, but what happened to that baby Cyrus? Can you tell us, or do you want us to watch the movie?
Oh, no, I could absolutely tell you. So they ended up, when they were getting pulled over, because thanks to Eamon Bundy, so they called Bundy and said, hey, the cops are behind us. We think we're getting pulled over, because they kind of knew they had been dealing with the CPS. They weren't sure. They weren't charged with anything, but they kind of had a feeling because the cops showed up at the house, caseworkers showed up to ask questions, and then they missed a wellness check. So their baby had cyclic vomiting syndrome, which is very hard to diagnose. The baby can only drink his mother's breast milk. And he would go in these spits where he would have, he would vomit 10, 20, 30 times a day, and he was losing weight. So they were taking him to their natural doctor, their anti-vax parents, their homeschoolers, and the natural doctor, for whatever reason, couldn't diagnose the baby. So then they said, okay, well, we'll take him to the actual normal hospital. So when they took him to St. Luke's, everything was completely fine until the nurse asked, I'm seeing here on your records that you don't vaccinate your child. And she goes, yeah, we don't believe in vaccinating our child. She goes, oh, you're those kind of parents. And then instantly the demeanor changed. She ordered the mother to go to these weigh-ins. So she had to take baby Cyrus in the morning, weigh him, and go to a class or something. And then she was good. She had to do 3 of these classes. So she went to the first one, second one, and then third one. The baby had been sick for 5 days. They're in and out of the hospital. The mom's stressed out and she got really sick. So she called them in the morning at 8 a.m. She was supposed to be there at 9. She's like, hey, I'm super sick right now. I'm going to lay down and take a nap. Can I please reschedule? I'll call you back, guys back when I woke up. And she woke up at noon that day and all hell had broken loose. And then that night, their baby was kidnapped at gunpoint at the gas station. They called Eamon Bundy when it was happening. And he said, pull out your phones and record. And that's how we happened to have 5 different camera angles of the entire incident. I believe it was 22 cop cars arrived at that gas station that night to separate that baby from her mother. They took the baby. By the next morning, I believe there was 200 to 400 people outside of the hospital protesting. Within 24 hours, they had sent over, from all the news and all the media coverage, they had over 1,000 people emailing St. Luke's Hospital. And then within 8 days, they ended up getting their baby back because obviously they're a great family. They're not bad parents. There was no reason that CPS should have came in or been involved in any case whatsoever. So they ended up getting the baby back just by the grace of God, I think, because so many people saw what was happening. There was grandmas that were driving from 2 or 3 states away to come join that protest because they heard what happened to this baby. And like I said, their father used to be a pastor. He was a pastor for 12. The grandfather was a pastor for 12 years. So he had a lot of people that knew that they were great parents and a great family and believed in them. And when they needed help, everybody showed up.
Well,
but 99% of parents in America don't have that ability. We don't have those connections. We don't have those resources.
Now, that Bundy, is that the Bundy I'm familiar with from when they had the standoff with the police?
Sure is. And you want to know what St. Luke's did to him?
What?
They've bankrupted him. And they're trying to bankrupt the family. To this day, they are facing a $50 million lawsuit because St. Luke's claimed that they were violent and they were dangerous and those protesters were so dangerous they had to shut down the hospital for 24 hours. And that cost them $50 million. So they are currently in Donald Trump style lawfare. And they've already taken everything from Bundy, and they're attempting to take everything from the family.
So is there like a give, send, go or something for those people?
Yes, I believe it's in freedomman.gs. I believe it's GS. Don't quote me on that. In this video, after I get on here, I'll go down and leave it in the comments for everybody so that way you guys can have the link to their website.
Okay. Wow. Well, that sounds like a powerful documentary. It was. I know it was trending on X for a couple days. Correct?
Yeah, thanks to everybody like you and everybody that came in and shared it. X is really, it's on YouTube right now, but YouTube just nuked my other channel with all my other documentaries on the migrant children. So I don't know how long this one's going to be up on YouTube, but for now it's up there. So hopefully it'll stay.
Okay. Well, what's your YouTube channel called?
Ryan Matta Films.
Ryan Matta Films. Okay, everybody check that out while it's still up. That's pretty powerful stuff. Great work, Ryan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Over to Steph.
All right. That was great. Thank you so much, Jimmy, for having Ryan on. Ryan Matta Films, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Thank you, Ryan. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's do this. Boom. All right. Hey, Captain Kibbies gifted 10 subscriptions to the Jimmy Dore Show. Much appreciated. Okay. How many kids are leftists willing to pimp out for open borders? Apparently 450,000 isn't enough. Hashtag caring. Burby. Thanks for bringing this awareness. Hi, Bolus. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Where are the other ones that I just... Captain Kibbies has 10 subscriptions. Much appreciated. All right, let's go over here. Stand by, folks. Jimmy will be right back. Let's refresh this. It's raining a little today. Not raining that much right now. Thank God I'm able to let my dog run around. And what my dog will do is she has this thing where she likes the dirt. And probably by the end of the day, there will be paw prints everywhere. So that's fun. That's the fun part. I brought my friend John to Jimmy's show in New York. He has had a lot of tragedy in his life, and he literally laughed for the first time in a year. Thank you, Jimmy.
I'm that good.
We missed you.
I am that good.
We missed you, Steph. Merry Christmas. Love you. Well, Kenneth, that is so great. I'm glad your friend enjoyed the show. I missed going. Bam. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That was so good. Thank you so much. That was so good. Thank you so much, Clatonymous. All right, back to Jimmy.
Okay, I'm here. Everybody, I'm joined by Ryan Matta right now from Ryan Matta Films, and we're going to talk about TPUSA, and Tim Dillon had a great take on it. Now, if you know, this is I don't know exactly what stage of grieving this is. And you know what? Maybe we should kill that music, right? So kill that music. I don't know what stage of grieving this is, but this is the WWE stage. I think it comes right before it comes. First, it goes, yeah. Look at this. So this is supposed to be a Christian organization of conservatives, and that's what they do now. So they got to go more spectacle. And Tim Dillon actually had a pretty good commentary on. So if you've been watching our coverage or anybody's coverage of TPUSA's America Fest, it was pardon my French, it was a shit show from start to finish. Completely the opposite of what Charlie Kirk had made it out to be. Charlie Kirk had built that up from the grassroots. And Ben Shapiro hated him, tried to undermine him. And Charlie Kirk, not a fan of Ben Shapiro, yet the first person they have speaking there is Ben Shapiro under Erica Kirk. She's the one who runs the whole show now. So she took like $1 million from Ben Shapiro to have him speak, and he insulted all the other speakers who were going to come after him because they were not adhering to the Zionist propaganda enough. And now they're taking Charlie Kirk's TPUSA and turning it into a Israel First Zionist organization, and everybody sees it happening. And Erica Kirk is an agent of the Zionists' agenda. And she's going, and because we all know Charlie Kirk, just days before he was assassinated, had texted his friends, I think they're going to kill me. I can no longer support the state of Israel. He said that. The Jewish donors are bullying me. I won't be bullied. They play into the worst stereotypes. The Jewish donors play into the worst stereotypes, and I can no longer support the state of Israel. Couple days later, he gets killed, and then Erica Kirk's supposed to be grieving, but you see how it looks when she's grieving and she's turning and she's running around saying Shabbat Shalom. She's pitching a book all about the Sabbath, and they're all talking about Israel first. So it's obvious what's happening here, and so they have no real good. The heart of the organization has been taken away, and they're rudderless. They have no leadership except their Zionist Jewish donor handlers, and that's what this is looking like. So pretty soon you will see my prediction is you will see TPUSA go the wayside. They will be just another think tank that nobody pays attention to. And they're not going to have the power they had to get Donald Trump elected. But here's what Tim Dillon has to say. And I think he nails it. Let's listen.
This turning point kind of abomination that the right wing of this country has turned into like a bad reality show. And it's all of the fault of everyone, by the way. It's the fault of everyone speaking and everyone attending. And there's nobody that gets a... Everything about this is weird and uncomfortable for everyone. And I'm not saying she killed her husband or knew about it or whatever. I'm saying the guy got shot 3 months ago and she walks out to a pyrotechnic display and then she goes, "We're going to elect J.D. Vance." It's weird that that's where her head is at. It's difficult for many people to relate to. It's not relatable for people that talked about how Hollywood isn't relatable and Hollywood is out of touch. This looks a lot like Hollywood to most people. And to go out through a stream of fireworks and sparklers and stand there in a glittering pantsuit and talk about electing J.D. Vance 3 months after your husband was killed, many people feel that there is something off about that. And we're starting to see that political people are the exact same thing as the Hollywood elites that they all love to dunk on. And we all look at this. This is Megan Thee Stallion twerking at the Kamala rally. This is deeply unsettling to a lot of people. It feels like you're being played. You feel it. It seems off. You feel like this is a coordinated and choreographed spectacle so that you are played. They want your money.
Whoa. Well, Tim, different people mourn in different ways. That's what I say. You know, when I've lost someone close to me, I become reserved and I find a quiet place to meditate and on the good memories that we had. But other people, they choose to mourn by proving to America that they have talent and that they can dance. Maybe that's what she's doing. Well, any comment, Ryan? Let me bring in Ryan Mata. Any comment on what Tim Dillon had to say about that? I mean, I'm sure you've seen most of the clips from TPUSA's event, AmFest.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Tim more, man. All of this seems so coordinated. It seems so scripted. Nothing seems organic. Nothing seems natural about this. You know, from the time that I saw the video of Erica Kirk talking about and Charlie interviewing her, and they were going back and forth about their wedding dates. And anybody that knows any woman, she never forgets a date. Dates are so important to women. They remember it. It's like engraved in their brain. You know, you'll date a girl and she'll tell you what her high school boyfriend's sweetheart's birthday was. He'll tell you what her mother's birthday was. And then when you hear Erica stumbling over birth dates and then trying to act like she has 2 children, so it's too many birthdays to remember and she gets them confused, and then watching this spectacle play out and the way that they've responded and then watching everybody relentlessly attacking Candace Owens, I think puts the biggest spotlight on this. I don't know. It just doesn't seem natural to me.
Well, I just don't understand how they thought it was going to play having Erica Kirk go around on a media tour trying to get everybody to stop finding out the truth about the assassination of her husband. And nobody believes the FBI story except the people being paid to believe it and push it. And so it would be like if they had JFK's Jackie Onassis come out couple months after his assassination, telling people, stop looking into it. Stop. It's fine. We know who did it. And LBJ's a great person. And of course that didn't happen. She was actually in mourning, and she was actually scared for her life. And which is why she went out to marry Onassis, because she felt he could protect her with his billions of dollars. And but anyway, so that's why it's, well, here's what Candace Owens says. Candace Owens says, everyone was thinking it. Tim Dillon said it. It was out of touch and elite. It's not and will never be relatable for blue-collar workers to endure lectures from wealthy people telling them who is and is not evil. Recreating the tent Charlie died under for selfies? Seriously? Okay, so that literally did happen. So the tent that Charlie Kirk was under when he got assassinated certainly wasn't from a 30-06 bullet that came from Tyler Robinson. That was not that killed him. He was killed in some other way. They literally had that tent. It wasn't a recreation. They brought that tent to Amfest, and people were taking selfies in it. And I'm like, well, did you guys make it really authentic and then pave over that tent 2 days later? Because that would make it more authentic. So anyway, yeah, there it is. And
then they had T-shirts next to it, Jimmy. They had a big, like, right off to the left of the tent were the white Freedom Charlie Kirk T-shirts that they were selling. So I can only imagine the amount of people that bought that shirt and then went and took a selfie under the tent that Charlie Kirk was assassinated in.
That's just creepy.
Disgusting.
That's just creepy. By the way, if you look, talking about merch, right here underneath their video, it always says, check out our official TPUSA merch, text merch to 7. So, and they also have a page at their website. It's called Charlie Kirk Memorial Merch. And they have the gall to say someone else is covering this assassination for money. And they're doing it for clicks and views and popular. Like, oh my, what do you call this? What is that? She released a video of her weeping over her dead husband's body in a coffin, and then she claimed she wants privacy. You took that video and you released it yourself. It's the most unbelievable miscalculation of public relations I've seen since I don't know. They thought somebody wanted to watch Barry Weiss on TV. So here's what Selena Mara says. Tim Dillon is spot on. TPUSA is nothing but a corporate grift designed to keep young people trapped in a choreographed loop of outrage and fundraising. It's a staged spectacle that prioritizes billionaire donor interests over actual change. If you think these people are fighting for you while they rake in millions from a bad reality show, you're the mark. That's exactly right. You are the mark. And they think we're stupid. And if you were impressed by this Las Vegas light flashing mind control display, then they were right about you. But too many people have seen how the sausage is made, and now they know where the sausage is being shoved, and they won't be coming back. Unless it's Nicki Minaj. Oh, we got to be there for that. Nicki Minaj, right? Here's Runmir says, the problem with TPUSA is that with Charlie gone, they kept the form but lost the substance. To compensate, they have to make it flashier, bigger, noisier. But for the quasi-spiritual movement, that is the end of the road. And as a political movement, it just goes into the category of all other political movements. They merged into the same political grayness. Yes, they did. It's like if you wanted to see a group of grifters screw themselves while trying to screw us, then this went perfectly. But they went over the top. They really did, and they crashed on the other side, kind of like Evel Knievel.
You know, and it's like what Charlie had set up there with Turning Point, what made Turning Point so special and why everybody wanted to go to TPUSA instead of CPAC was because Charlie would bring on the guests that nobody else would platform, and he would put them together and he would host debates and you would hear from these amazing speakers on topics that the American people actually wanted to talk about. And now we got Nicki Minaj on stage, and Charlie Kirk wasn't even a year ago, and he was in an interview or he was getting doing his his debates at these college campuses, and the one girl brought up Nicki Minaj and who else? Cardi B, and he straight up said, he said, I don't think Nicki Minaj is a good influence for 18-year-old girls. I just don't think she is. And then Erica Kirk brings her on stage. And I think it has part to do with Nicki Minaj tweeting about how grateful she was for President Trump and what he was doing in Nigeria to expose the genocide of the Christians in Nigeria. She had put out like 3 tweets about it. And then all of a sudden she's on stage and she's acting like she's this big Trump MAGA. It reminds me, Jimmy Dore, it reminds me of that our intelligence agencies and a group over in the Middle East control our music industry. And now they see that they're losing part of our vote. So let's bring Nicki Minaj on stage and make Nicki Minaj go MAGA. And let's see how many extra votes we can rally in for it, because we're losing so many.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I that's good. That's a good analysis. Soul Train says 100%. I joined a few of the social media groups right after Charlie died. I really wanted to be part of what he started. Instead, it felt like a Jim and Tammy Faye Baker telethon. You cannot say a single negative word about Israel, and they ask for money. It was so disappointing. Greg Fisher says, it's because it's been the agenda from the beginning. This appears to be a well-planned, organized murder and hostile takeover of the house that Charlie built, TPUSA, and they're very brazen about it. Even under the heavy scrutiny of fraud and allegations of specific individuals' involvement, including Erica. And I'm just wondering if TPUSA is actually intentionally destroying the Zionists while pretending to help by doing everything horribly wrong on purpose and sacrificing their reputation to do it. I mean, talk about taking one for the team, but this is so ridiculous that it has to make you think that they want this outcome. It's like you look at this garbage and you have to think to yourself, who would do this? Who would think this is working? It's shocking to me. Here's one more. Master Chungus says, it's all turning into a weird spin-off of the Hunger Games. These people not only don't have anything in common with us, they hold contempt for us and claim to have the ability to steer the narrative in whatever way they choose. What if we don't want J.D. Vance? Because she already endorsed J.D. Vance 3 years out. She comes out. So the whole point of Turning Point USA was to have that kind of political power so you can get politicians that they had to come to you and then you had sway with them. They needed your votes from your organization. They needed your backing and your support, or they couldn't get elected. So now you can extract things from those politicians. The fact that Erica Kirk already endorsed J.D. Vance 3 years ahead of time, that means she has no power over J.D. Vance. None of the other people are going to try to come to them to get their endorsement. Nobody is going to come to them and try to give them something they want in exchange for their support, which is how politics is supposed to work. It's not supposed to work like that, the way what she just did. What did you think of her endorsing them? I mean, endorsing J.D. Vance.
It seems like the hostile takeover is in play, and that Turning Point is now just a propaganda arm of the Trump administration, which will then be the J.D. Vance administration. If for some reason our country's dumb enough to elect J.D. Vance, man, oh man, I think we're going to be in trouble.
Well, if you don't want J.D. Vance as president, then you're about to be shipped to a Venezuelan prison. He feels his safety is threatened if you don't vote for him, and so that's that. Yeah, it's definitely a hostile takeover, and it's the Trump administration. But again, the Trump administration is controlled by the Zionists and the Israel and the Miriam Adelsons and those type of people. That's who controls the Trump administration. It's obvious that that's what's happening. And so then by extension, they now control the TPUSA, and that's exactly who Charlie was afraid was going to kill him. As soon as he turned his back on their money, he didn't want their money anymore, the Jewish donors' money, the Zionist money. He said that he won't be bullied by them. They play into the worst stereotypes, and he can't support Israel anymore. And before you know it, he's killed, and everybody pretends that him saying that didn't mean anything. So first they said he didn't say that. They all lied at TPUSA and said Charlie didn't say that about Israel. And then Candace Owens produces the text messages that shows he did. And then they all go, oh, you're taking it out of context. He didn't really mean that. Of course he meant that. And that's why they killed him. That's why he platformed Dave Smith. And he had him debate what's that guy's name he debated? Josh Hammer at the last AmFest. He brought Tucker Carlson, and he was getting ready to bring Candace Owens back. And so that goes directly against the Jewish donors, the Zionist donors. And it's just like the mafia. You can't take their money and then turn your back on them. They're going to kill you. And it seems pretty obvious that that's what happened. And that's why they're trying to turn so quickly TPUSA into a pro-Israel Zionist organization with no room for debate on that. And that's why they put Ben Shapiro on stage there, somebody Charlie Kirk couldn't stand. So
yes, and
go ahead.
They say it's silver and lead, right? I think it was El Chapo.
Yes.
Benjamin Netanyahu is literally the El Chapo of politics. There is nobody with more power that controls more militaries around the world than Benjamin Netanyahu. And Charlie Kirk, it would be like if you went to El Chapo and you were a cartel member and you were coming up the ranks and you sat down at a table and El Chapo was like, here's a big chunk of money and I'm going to offer you my daughter's hand. And you're like, you know what? I think I'm doing pretty good for myself. I'm just going to take this organization you helped me build and I'm going to set up shop across the street. You're not walking out of that table alive,
That's
right?
right. That's 100%. And we see the power of Benjamin Netanyahu just most recently in Australia. He got them to adopt the IHRA definition of what anti-Semitism means, which is crazy. And now, even after this false flag on Bondi Beach, he got the Australian government to crack down even further on speech, of the free speech. So they're taking people's freedom away left and right by threatening Western governments, and it's working. He's already got Trump to insert DEI for Jewish students on campus, hate speech laws on college campuses. So we thought we got rid of all that stuff. Trump was coming in to get rid of that censorship and DEI and those kind of forced DEI program, and hate speech laws. This is something antithetical to his base, and then here he is doing it at the behest of Benjamin Netanyahu and the Zionist movement. They think people aren't going to notice. Well, people have noticed, and so the two biggest leading, most popular people in the conservative movement, I would say, would be Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Thomas Massie, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're all on the opposite side of Donald Trump on this. And Donald Trump has taken it. Dan Bongino finally resigned. He wasn't even there for a few months, and he finally resigned because I don't think he could take it anymore. Do you think that's why he resigned?
You know, that's a good call, Jimmy. I don't know with Bongino. I can't tell because he used to work under the Obama administration. He was Obama's Secret Service. He had been in there for a really long time. I can't tell. I almost think that it was bigger than that. I think that they realized that with all of the media turning against them, that they needed a powerful voice back that was going to be an always Trumper and kind of carry the weight for this administration. So I think it was part strategy. I don't know if I necessarily trust Bongino. He made a bunch of big promises. He used his show and he built it up like he was the biggest anti-deep state podcaster in the game. And if ever given the opportunity, he would expose it all. And he went back in there and promised us the world and didn't do anything, not one political arrest. And they were trying to send him out with that J6 pipe bomber. Don't even get me started on how that's a whole hoax in itself. I mean, the FBI literally is framing an innocent man for the bombing of January 6th. And that was supposed to be his, his going away. Yeah, like Bongino caught the J6 pipe bomber. Hooray. And now that's blowing up in their face. And now Steve Baker, the journalist who's exposing it, magically is in the hospital today with heart failure. No predispositions, never had an issue before, was never sick. And then all of a sudden, after he literally has evidence right now that he's sitting on, that's about to blow that case wide open, he ends up in the hospital. And honestly, I don't know if he's going to make it out.
Oi, I don't want any trouble.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, wow. Okay. So this all ties back into TPUSA. It's all one big cabal. It's all one, but now because of social media, and thank God for Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and people like you, Ryan, doing great work on TPUSA and the government in general, people no longer, we don't just get fed propaganda. We also get fed truth, and people see through it. They screwed themselves with Russiagate. They screwed themselves with the Ukraine war, and they screwed themselves by telling us that Joe Biden was sharp and focused when everybody could see he was demented. And then they screwed us with COVID, with ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, and the vax is safe and effective, and it's going to stop and all that stuff. Nobody trusts them anymore ever, and it's not working, which is why CBS is failing. What TPUSA is trying to do is failing, and this, Charlie Kirk's whole thing was ask me a question, change my mind, and their whole thing is how dare you ask me a question. It's the exact opposite. Just like you said, bringing Nicki Minaj on and having all these it's the opposite. And as Tim Dillon said, they're now Hollywood, and they're not relatable to regular people. So, all right, well, and if you like to hear my jokes about this, come see me January 11th in Waikiki, February 20th in Lansing, Michigan, February 21st in Milwaukee. You hear all my jokes on TPUSA, Erica Kirk, Kash Patel, Charlie Kirk's assassination, and much, much more. Of course, Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu and their false flags. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com, because you go anywhere else, you're going to spend more money. Okay, Ryan, can you stick around for another story or two?
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right, over to Steph.
Hey, Jimmy, do you want to do one more story and then Rumble?
Yeah, let me do one more story.
Okay, you got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's do this. Thanks for bringing this awareness. That was high ballast. Okay. Thank you, Jimmy Dore and crew. Ryan Mata's documentary needs more Americans extending their hearts out, just like what you are doing by giving Ryan some airtime. Long Meadow, much appreciated. Everyone should watch Ryan Mata Media's documentaries. They are amazing and they're free. Kimmy, Steph, I sent you an email after you gave me a shout out after Bondi's shootings. I'd be more than happy to chat to JD about the Australian government response along with the public backlash. Roachy boy, we will keep that in mind. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Nathan. Thank you. Merry Christmas right back. Russia is rolling out facial recognition for school children to enter their schools. I guess they're on the bandwagon too. I find it so funny that the CIA shills and trolls cannot effectively work this chat. They can't keep track of what's going on and are literally lost in the shuffle and exercise in futility. Sound chaser.
Okay.
Back to Jimmy.
I'm here with Ryan Mata from Ryan Mata Films, and we're going to be talking about how Megyn Kelly got totally screwed over by the head Zionist, Ben Shapiro. And now she's going to tell you who the real anti-Semites are. But first, I'm going to show you what she used to say. So this is the before picture of Megyn Kelly, as in before she found out that she is as valuable as a paper towel to the ones that she bends a knee to, right? So this was her explaining how many people she considered friends are not, just asking questions. So this is before she was carrying water for the Zionists and the liars. And let's listen to what she had to say. This is before.
I've been shocked at how many people who I previously respected have outed themselves as either know-nothings or anti-Semites since last Saturday. And some of them I considered friends, and I'm really kind of wrestling with what they've done. Like, I guess it's like a seething anti-Semitism that I didn't know was there. I don't know how my Jewish friends are dealing with this. I've heard from so many of my Jewish friends and my Jewish audience members who are like reeling. They're reeling right now because they've had this horrible, horrible thing happen to Israel. And in the wake of it, they have so many in their own country just brushing it off as like, oh yeah, Hamas had to go military. They had to go military, because of the failures of Israeli policy in the Middle East, Eliana. Can you imagine? Imagine yourself an MSNBC watcher, a leftist who consumes news because you're woke and you're like, okay, I mean, some Jewish people might fall into that category. And then you see these reporters who you trusted saying that shit on the air.
So can you imagine reading that cue card she's reading and not realizing it's the setup to a joke where you are the punchline? Imagine that, why don't you? Because here it is. Megyn Kelly talks Ben Shapiro's betrayal and the MAGA reckoning at America Fest. And as America Fest convened, the likes of Erica Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Kelly, Shapiro, and other conservative stars, MAGA was anything but united. So this is from the Vanity Fair article. It says Megyn Kelly had no idea that Ben Shapiro planned to go after her. When he launched into a scathing broadside against what he called charlatans and grifters in the conservative movement on the first night of Turning Point's annual conference last week, his pointed inclusion of Megyn Kelly shocked the commentator who has long considered Ben Shapiro a friend. I was flabbergasted, she told me, soon after stepping off the stage, the same stage where her searing response to Shapiro was rapturously received by the crowd. I thought, who do you think you are? When more than 90,000 people gathered at a stadium in Arizona for Charlie Kirk's funeral in September, speakers at the pyrotechnic-infused revival predicted a new dawn for conservative politics. The coalition unified in its support for President Donald Trump, and its horror at Kirk's killing was in harmony. This is the new territory for the Republican Party, Turning Point COO Tyler Bauer said at the time. The fusion of Christ and our politics is changing the culture. It's unifying everyone. This is our civil rights moment. Who does he think he is? Maybe Moloch? I don't know his diet. Anyway, just a few months later at Turning Point's America Fest gathering in Phoenix, that unity collapsed into an interscene feud between rival factions vying to define Kirk's legacy and steer the future of right-wing politics. Moments after Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, opened the conference with a speech calling her late husband a peacemaker and urging an end to the squabbling, Shapiro issued a blistering gerrymade that Gerrymade? I never heard that word. A blistering gerrymade that recalled William F. Buckley Jr.'s attempted excommunication of the far right. The conservative movement is in serious danger, Shapiro said, from charlatans who claim to speak in the name of principle but actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty, who offer nothing but bile and despair. He denounced Candace Owens, a podcaster he once employed at the Daily Wire, the media company he co-founded, who has emerged as the chief purveyor of conspiracy theories about Kirk's murder. I would say she's the chief purveyor of conspiracy facts. How about that? Her video everything she said has been correct, and anything she said that isn't correct, she immediately corrects. And she's exposed the people telling her to shut up as liars over and over and over again. They never mention that in any of these articles. They never mention that, oh, by the way, Candace Owens has never once been caught lying, but she's caught the people trying to shut her up lying over and over and over. Okay. Her videos investigating the killing infused with all the drama of a true crime documentary have been viewed millions of times. You know why? Because nobody else is telling us the truth about Charlie Kirk's assassination, and so that we go to Candace Owens to get some truth. It feels good. Shapiro extended his criticism to those he said have refused to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks. He named Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and Steve Bannon, Trump's top advisor from his first term. A few hours later on the same stage, Carlson fired back. To hear calls for deplatforming and denouncing people at Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what? Carlson said with an air of annoyed confusion. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life, and I think that he died for it. I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement, Megyn Kelly responded in her own appearance on stage the following night. It reminded me when the girl who was the head of our middle school chorus told me she was going to take all my friends away from me. Yeah, I know. As if to make her point about Shapiro's diminished influence, the crowd roared at Kelly's remarks. After she left the stage, Kelly told me Ben Shapiro's attack, quote, felt like a betrayal by a friend, end quote. She compared the demand that she condemn Owens to progressive purity tests, saying, I never posted the black square and I never raised my fist at a restaurant. And I'm certainly not going to condemn the people Ben Shapiro demands I condemn in order to be in his imaginary club. Denounce, condemn, disassociate. F you, she said. Whoa. Like Carlson, Kelly tied Shapiro's broadside to his support for Israel. Ben is Israel first, said Megyn Kelly. She understands that Shapiro would consider such a change anti-Semitic. And I'm sorry, but his behavior has proven that charge to be correct. Why would you divide the American conservative movement, which was gelling, which was becoming much more cohesive for a moment after Charlie died, over Israel, she said. Wow, good for her. Kelly also took aim at Barry Weiss. The newly appointed editor-in-chief of CBS News, her website, The Free Press, published an adapted version of Ben Shapiro's remarks, which Barry Weiss posted on Twitter. It's this very loud group of pro-Israel activists that is trying to make this the litmus test about whether you get to call yourself a conservative, and they lack standing to do that. Megyn Kelly said. Barry, in particular, has made her career on the anti-cancel culture thing. Meanwhile, she's never been canceled. And she's basically supporting Ben's attempt to cancel me from the conservative movement, of which she's not a part. What Charlie and I saw at the same time was that the country is turning, Megyn Kelly said, and young Republicans are turning on Israel. She argued that figures like Shapiro and Barry Weiss are actually fueling the rise of anti-Semitism through their attempts to censor criticism of Israel. Quote, they are making anti-Semites, she said. Tucker is not making anti-Semites. They are. Wow. Wow. And here's my, so Brooke Gold. So first of all, let me just bring Ryan Matta in. Ryan, what do you say about, so she considers herself a Zionist, and here she is being excommunicated, or someone who's the head Zionist in the conservative movement, Ben Shapiro, who walks around with a yarmulke on, trying to excommunicate her from the conservative movement over Israel. What do you say to all this?
You know, it reminds me of the Trump loyalists that we see on the internet. It's that Trump can do nothing wrong. It doesn't matter what Trump does. They try to paint the picture like he's the greatest man on earth and it was the absolute best thing to do and he couldn't make a wrong decision. It's the same thing you see with the Israel loyalists, right? As the American people, when you do something wrong, when we do something wrong, we admit we're wrong. They can never admit they're wrong. Israel can't do any wrong. Trump can't do any wrong. So people like Megyn Kelly point out the slightest little thing, and they try to even spin it in a nice way, and they're still getting attacked for it, which is what happened to Charlie. Eventually, you're either going to realize they're going to keep treading that water, like Megyn Kelly will keep being a Zionist, and she will continue to do this, or she's going to wake up like I kind of think we saw Charlie doing right at the very end, and then they're going to push her completely out, and she's going to be becoming, maybe the next Tucker, maybe like Candace. I don't know. I don't think Megyn Kelly's quite there yet, but we'll see.
Well, when she had Ben Shapiro on her, she's doing some kind of stadium tour. I didn't know she was half that popular, to be honest. Humble brag. My show is way ahead of her in the YouTube rankings as far as the podcasts go. But anyway, she brought on Ben Shapiro and she called herself a Zionist. I'm a Zionist. Why are people calling me an anti-Semite? I'm a Zionist. She said so. So let's see if she does turn. It'd be great to see if she does turn. The part with Megyn Kelly that gets me is her take on Epstein. Watching her a few weeks ago talk about how those girls were 15 and they looked like that they were 18. I just put out a video of her right before we went live just a minute ago, and I was like, I think Megyn Kelly, now that we're getting all these redacted files, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I don't know if you know the story that Pam Bondi put out all those Epstein files and she made them in PDF format. So everybody now can go download those files. And if you just highlight the black box, you can copy and paste it over into notes and you get the whole files unredacted. So we're now getting the victims' names. Now we're able to cross-reference that with the dates and go and get the ages. And we're starting to find out these victims weren't 15, Megyn Kelly. They were 14, 13. They were much younger than that. And we're getting all that information now because it all just broke a couple hours ago. So I don't know. I'm going to see where Megyn Kelly's take stands on the Epstein victims now and how she's going to talk about that to see where she lands on this Israel thing. Well, I think it's interesting. I think she's correct when she says it's people like Ben Shapiro that are creating anti-Semitism. And by the way, this has always been their trick, to create anti-Semitism and then use anti-Semitism to make themselves the victim while they're the ones slaughtering Palestinians, being an occupying force, and then also instigating wars all over the world, right? So that's kind of the plan. That's like their MO is to create anti-Semitism. So if Ben Shapiro's out here and Benjamin Netanyahu and the Jewish donor class are creating anti-Semitism, they want anti-Semitism. They want to create it. And I've said this for a long time, that the biggest generator of anti-Semitism is Israel. And the least safe place to be for a Jew is Israel. They say we had to have a homeland so we could be. All the Jews I know in New York, Hollywood, Florida, they all feel very safe. They don't. There's no problems. And any of these anti-Semitic attacks always turn out to be false flags. People doing it to try to prop up the idea that there's anti-Semitism everywhere. So, I mean, you would agree with that, right? That the biggest generators of anti-Semitism, as Megyn Kelly says, is not Tucker Carlson, Candace Owen, and her, but it's people like Ben Shapiro and Bibi Netanyahu, right?
Absolutely, 100%. There's no question.
Well, here's a crazy tweet. Brooke Goldstein said, Megyn Kelly's claim that Ben Shapiro is creating anti-Semites rests on a straw man. No one is trying to censor criticism of Israel. How hilarious is that? So your jumping off point is one of the biggest lies in going today, that no one's trying to censor anti-Israel content. The whole point of Larry Ellison buying TikTok was so that he could censor anti-Israel content. We know this because of a secret recording at the ADL. They admitted that TikTok's a problem. It's not a left-right issue. It's the youth. They've lost the youth, and that's why they had to buy TikTok. Same thing with the Ellison's buying 1/6 of the media. So this is just nuts, right? By the way, Benjamin Netanyahu's out there right now screaming that Western countries, he's threatening them that you have to censor more. And if you don't censor more, you're going to get in trouble. And so now they're censoring more. Australia just caved, bent the knee to Benjamin Netanyahu. They're going to censor even more. So is Europe. So right now, they just arrested Greta Thunberg in the UK, called her a terrorist because she's holding up a sign being in solidarity with the Palestinians. So that's crazy. Okay. What is being called out is something else entirely, deliberate reframing of Jews as a foreign lobby, as Israel firsters, as the suspect collective whose loyalty is questioned. Well, they're the ones who say first of all, that's all true. They are Israel firsters. That's the problem. They are. Donald Trump talks about Miriam Adelson and her husband, Sheldon. All they cared about was Israel. He admits it. They care about Israel more than the United States. Donald Trump said it to her face. So this isn't some conspiracy theory. This is their biggest puppet, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, saying that to their face, and she's pretending like he didn't. And suspected collective. Ben did not make this about Jews or Israel. He didn't even mention it. But others did repeatedly by dragging Jews into the argument and recasting disagreement as proof of Jewish power, influence, and disloyalty. So this kind of argument doesn't work anymore. So that, just to let you know, Brooke, doesn't work. That is how modern Jew hatred operates. Jews are accused of, no, it's not hatred of Jews. It's hatred of Zionists. And it's the Zionists who are conflating Judaism with Zionism. So then when you criticize Zionism, they can call you an anti-Semite. Everyone's onto that trick. Okay, Jews are accused of being Israel firsters, of inventing, exaggerating Jew hatred to protect power. That, you know why? Because that's what they are and that's what they do. Okay. And when Jews object, they are blamed for the hostility directed at them because they are inventing it. All are permitted to disagree except the Jew. This is inversion. Blaming Jews for Jew hatred is one of the oldest tactics in history. No, calling anybody who criticizes Israel or Zionists an anti-Semite is one of the oldest tactics in history. This is amazing. They think people don't see through this. It is the early warning sign of a civilization in decline, and you're jumping on the bandwagon, Megyn. Megyn, I've been on your show many times in the past. I welcome open dialogue. We can talk about this as colleagues. Okay, no thanks. No thanks. How did this become such an old tactic in history? Why did anybody have to bother with it to begin with? Don't people have other important stuff to do? I like Blakely says, no one's trying to censor criticism of Israel. LMAO. Okay, perfect. Anything you'd like to add to that, Ryan?
No, man, I think you're spot on. I just think these people just must think we're stupid. It's like the more they try to force you and the more that they come up with these it's so, I don't know, like low level IQ to think that I'm actually going to read what Brooke Goldstein wrote and go, oh, yeah, I must have not heard what I heard there on stage. They think we're stupid and we're not going to see through it, but everybody's seeing through it. And the more that they try to claim that it doesn't exist and it's not there and we're all watching it happen, and the more they put out tweets like this, the more that we open our eyes and the more people that wake up. So it's like, just like Ben Shapiro is creating more anti-Semites, Brooke Goldstein is as well. I mean, they all do. Anybody who has that stance is what's creating anti-Semitism.
100% well said, Ryan. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Everybody check out Ryan Matta Films on YouTube. He's got a great documentary out right now about the Child Protective Services kidnapping kids. It's very powerful. Well done. That's a good place to send people, right? Ryan Matta Films
they're
on
over
YouTube?
on X. X is at Ryan Matta Media. Those are my two big platforms. So thank you, Jimmy.
Okay, Ryan, I appreciate you taking time out today to come on. We'll talk to you again soon.
God bless you, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, now we're going to go to Rumble, right?
Yep, we're all ready to go.
Okay, so we're going to switch over to Rumble. Everybody meet us over there.